Before we begin, I kindly ask all council members to silence and put away cell phones. If you need to step away or attend to personal matters, please make a motion to recess. For those participating by phone, please keep your device muted unless you are speaking. When speaking, kindly state your name for the benefit of those viewing the live stream. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast live. The camera is located above the clock at the back of the council chambers. Our proceedings follow Robert's Rules of Order as set forth in Wasilla Municipal Code 2.04.090. To promote an orderly and respectful meeting, I respectfully ask the council to observe the following rules. Please seek recognition before speaking. No member may speak more than twice on the same motion without a vote to suspend the rules. No member may speak a second time until all who wish to speak have had the opportunity to do so. These guidelines help ensure fairness, efficiency, and mutual respect during our discussions. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Cottle. Here. Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson. Councilmember Crafton.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Rubio. Here. You do have a quorum, Madam Mayor. All members are present with us in chambers except Councilmember Johnson, who is participating telephonically.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Crafton, would you lead us?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. The next item of business is approval of the agenda. Before changes are discussed, are there conflicts of interest to declare? Hearing none, are there changes to the agenda? Mr. Graham.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move item 7.1.2 to new business, as well as item 8.2.1.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham, 7.1.2 is up for public hearing. Is there a reason you would like, it's not new business, discussions in order?
I would like a short discussion of that. Would you like me to leave it where it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That'd be
we'll do that.
appropriate. And what was your other item?
8.2.1,
The introduction?
yes.
Okay, are there any further changes? Hearing none, is there an objection? The agenda is approved as amended. We are on to special orders of the day, so we don't have any, and so it's commission and agencies report. Our lobbyist report, Confluence Strategies. Chris Noss.
Hi, everybody. For the record, Chris Noss, Managing Partner of Confluence Strategies out of Juneau. And nice to see everybody. I was hoping to be here a little earlier, like May. But, we, as folks have been reading the papers, we still have some unfinished business. And hopefully we'll get that through. But I just wanted to share with the group. I know we'd sent some slides for the council review, but just wanted to walk through some of those and kind of give you a little update on what's been happening in Juneau, what's particularly happening in the Valley, and kind of where things go as we come to an end of administration and the start of a new administration on December 7th. And I think it's important for this group to know that when the transition process with the state administration is pretty significant, and given the fact that we have ranked choice voting, there's a situation where it takes a long time to tabulate those votes and certify the election. So last time, 24, I think we certified the election on November 25. We swear in a new governor on December 7. So there's not much time for a true transition in terms of campaign, governor-elect. Really, we might not know. So there could be a multitude of campaigns. Why I say that is the governor has started his transition actually just last week with the cabinet. So things are going to start to really slow down, if you will, and move into an election process. But if it's okay, just kind of walk through some of the slides. I don't know if we can run through them, or do I hit button? There we go.
It's underneath, if you'd rather, there's that.
Okay, I think I got there.
Okay.
Thank you. So just kind of an executive summary of the session. Governor signed the FY 27 budget with $58 million in unrestricted general fund vetoes, which is the lowest in his tenure as governor. And it looks like, total, we have a $6.64 billion general fund budget with 15.6 in federal funds. Most legislative priorities remained intact despite targeted vetoes. And basically where we're at now is we signed the 26-27 budgets. We signed the supplemental with vetoes, and now we're moving toward LNG legislation, which, as folks know, has been on the special session call for the last 2 sessions, and hopefully they can end it on this next week. Some of the highlights fiscally is, as folks know, we budgeted $80 a barrel for FY 27. And so we're looking at $1,000 permanent fund dividend with a $200 energy relief piece, which is all part of the same funding component, but it's basically to deal with some of the rising energy costs, mainly in the rural areas. Also, there are some other rural, what I would call rural beneficiaries in terms of bulk loan fuel availabilities and amount they could actually loan out, which is some of the energy relief. One of the good things for municipal revenue sharing or community assistance, so those dollars were restored for FY 26 and 27. Major maintenance in schools went down the list more significantly. This is the first time we've seen the legislature actually pick projects rather than just go through the list. So that was a little different. So we have, approximately 89 million projected in surplus. And so some of the things in the budget, which I think are really important to realize, is just that when the legislature wrote the budget, they had what they call waterfall provisions. And those waterfall provisions, for example, the Port of Alaska received $25 million. $15 million was UGF. The other $10 million will be basically released if oil stays above $80 a barrel for 6 months. And so there was a number of those waterfall type provisions in the budget. So spending money that we really don't have yet. And let's see here. Education was a big piece of the legislative session this year. Largest outside funding component to the formula, but outside the formula, Mat-Su Borough is approximately going to receive $61 million, additional $2 million for energy relief. That went to all school districts. School bond debt reimbursement was fully funded, which probably is a little more rural leaning. And then just basically combined dollars is about $200 million from Mat-Su. Transportation capital investments. So some of the Mat-Su transportation projects funded through the STIP, just so folks can see. Some of these were, if you remember, vetoed last year, which was federal highway dollars. And so they had to actually refund them in the supplemental so the state would not lapse on these funds. The other thing, and so I think now we're back on track in terms of the STIP and some of the issues we've had with the administration on that. As I mentioned, community assistance, $50 million for the state. A lot of money in this year for disaster relief, a lot of it Juneau, Mendenhall Valley. Community jail funding, which really doesn't impact this component, but that's more of a rural issue. But it's good to see that they've had some increases in terms of corrections and how those local governments operate those. Lots of money in the budget this year for workforce development, vocational training, trades, CDL training, welding. As you can see, tourism, seafood marketing received some money. Tourism was cut back a little bit. And then just, regional impact monies going toward workforce, et cetera, in the Mat-Su. So, and then special session, as we talked a little bit about, is regarding the property tax assessments and how to deal with those facilities for conditioning gas, for tariffs on local governments. And I know that the boroughs have been in some discussions with Glen Farm, but I think the bigger piece of this really is, the North Slope Borough, the Kenai Peninsula Borough have probably been the most vocal. But the original bill the governor introduced actually was, it really impeded local government's ability to exercise sales tax, property tax, those have been fixed in the bill. The issue that is really the sticking point in Juneau, and I think it's good for you all to know, I think we've come to an agreement on the gas pipeline property tax issues. I think that they've come to an agreement on the project labor agreements and the labor pieces of it. The issue is that can the Senate push out a bill that does not include what they call the S-corp loophole tax, which, as folks know, there's a provision in state statute that if an oil and gas producing company has over $4 million in revenue a year, they have to pay a corporate income tax to the state. Hillcorp is an S-corp, so it's a pass-through. The issue is BP, before it was acquired by Hillcorp, paid approximately $100 million a year in corporate tax. So there is some senators that are very mindful and pretty resolute to make sure that S-corp component makes its way into this bill. The other thing I would tell you is that Glen Farm is an S-corp, as is Fury or Hex in the Cook Inlet. So there's a lot of discussion of carving that component out just to the North Slope. There's always ways to do that, but that is going to be the fight of the week in Juneau, and then they have to adjourn the session by the 19th. So if we can get out in session 3, I assume the governor will call them back if they don't in session 4. So we'll see. And then let's see, is that it? That's it. Besides the transition, what's happening in Juneau, I think the big piece is that, from a strategic standpoint for the city, it's really important that we start to look at who will be the incoming administration, once we have our top 4, and try to play a role if we can in terms of what that transition looks like, because I think the candidates will be starting their transitions as well earlier. So happy to answer any questions, Mayor. To the group.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you. A couple of questions for you, Chris.
Yeah.
And I'll throw them out one at a time, and if it makes it easier for you. You mentioned the statewide energy relief was primarily rural. Other than the $200 per individual, which is be tacked on to PFD recipients. But is there any local impact at all in that energy relief other than that $200?
Well, the big piece of the energy relief, what I saw, was for the schools in the state. And I think there was a slide there and said there was $2 million just for the Mat-Su. I know that seems small, but when I say the rural piece, so like the bulk fuel loan bill, there was a cap of 750,000. They raised that cap to 1.5 million. Tribes, individuals, or corporations, village corporations, whatever, can actually now access those funds, which they weren't able to before. I think the challenge is, now, and what else to say about Juneau is you have the most senior senator from Bethel retiring this year. So what happens next year is very, I think, critical in terms of the forward movement on energy relief, because right now you have a significant amount of dollars, and even in this gas line bill, you have a significant piece going to subsidize some of those rural areas of the state comparatively to some of the folks along the urban centers, the Fairbanks, the Spur, Mat-Su, Kenai Peninsula. And so I'm trying to get to your answer, but what I would tell you is, yes, it is beneficial. It's what they call a statewide package. I think the focus is education and just school districts' energy bills. But I think that things are going to change in terms of who sits on the finance table in the next legislature.
Okay, thanks. We've talked about community assistance funding for many, many years. And, this year, they put money back into the fund that was not recapitalized in previous years, as well as full capitalization for this year. Do we have any idea what that means to the city? It used to be about 125,000. It wasn't significant, but it's
we haven't seen a breakdown. I think it'll probably be a little more than that, based on just kind of moving pieces, the populations and the growth. But I think the bigger piece is, in terms of local government piece, that $80 million over 2 years is, was $30 million. It has gone up. it has been, formulated, but I would say it's nothing that I would count on in the future. I mean, it's nice, it's good. I think it's a good bonus. And
Was there a waterfall provision for this as well?
No,
or
that's all
straight
UGF,
fund?
yeah.
Okay, great. And you also talked about what West Houston Access Project
Yeah.
funded at half level, that being half of what they requested, which was pretty much study money and no.
So, yeah, no, it's a good question. So it was half of the federal receipts that were available. They basically, the money is there.
Right.
It's just they moved half of the federal dollars, and I'm assuming they get the other half next year. I wouldn't fret if that were, if I were trying to build that road right now, but what I would tell you is all the monies are still in place and most likely they'll show up again in the budget next year.
Okay, and just two more quick questions. You talked about significant investment in workforce development and vocational training. Is that all state-directed vocational training, or does it apply like the Mat-Su School District?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different pieces, right? There's the state, everything from AvTech to Pipeline Training Center. A lot of these federal funds, and the other piece I would reference is, the thing I didn't mention is just the rural healthcare transformation funds. That's $272 million a year for 5 years for Alaska. And major components of that are workforce development. And so if somebody can come up with a good, reason or, grant, whatever you want to call it, application, I think that is a very smart play in terms of workforce, because I do think the funds are there. They're looking for projects. There's so much money in workforce development right now.
Great, thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions for Chris? Thank you, Chris, for coming out and
bet.
giving us the report.
All right, thanks, guys.
We are now at public hearing. Madam Clerk, please read the first ordinance by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance serial number 2610, amending the official zoning
Madam
map.
Mayor, may I come up?
Oh,
My name is Tara Sprague. I am part of the Neighborhood Watch in the community here in Mat-Su Valley.
Ma'am, can you give us just a minute and then we'll call for public testimony?
Well, there's a lot of issues going on out here in the valley. I constantly am out here every day walking with my dog. And I am seeing things around parks,
Yep. We'll
neighborhoods.
We will get you
we will-
under audience comments.
Yes, we'll get you, just give us just a minute here, we're just going in order. So, Madam Mayor, first is ordinance serial number 2610, amending the official zoning map of the city of Wasilla to rezone lots 2 and 3, Brookwood Commercial Park subdivision from rural residential to commercial. This is the second of 3 public hearings, with the third and final public hearing scheduled for July 27th, 2026.
Okay. Before we open public hearing, I would like to suspend the rules to allow the acting planner to provide a summary of the resolution and findings adopted by the planning commission. Is there an objection to suspending the rules?
Thank you.
Administrator Nygaard.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is the second of 3 public hearings, with the final being scheduled on the 27th of July. So this was an applicant from RFN Properties LLC, Frank Smith, and the owner is RFN Properties. It's a proposed rezone from rural residential to commercial. And it includes lots 2 and 3 of Brookwood Commercial Park subdivision, according to plat number 2021-97 in the Palmer Recording District, 3rd Judicial District for the state of Alaska. The location is 210 East Hard Rock Circle, Wasilla, Alaska, with a parcel size of 7.81 acres. Its existing zoning is rural residential, and the proposed zoning is commercial. Future land use would be general residential, with the surrounding zoning being commercial to the north and west and rural residential from east to south. In your packet, you do have a very nice summary from our contract planner, Stephanie Queen, on the findings and our recommendation to review those findings. And we do find it compliant with all applicable criteria that was established in the Title 16 code. And we recommend the approval of the rezone request. If you have any questions about the findings, I am available.
Mr. Schmidt.
The property that's directly across from East Hard Rock from the property in question, I noticed all the trees were cut off of that. Do you know what that's zoned by chance?
Yes, Councilmember Schmidt, through the mayor, that is a current AP application that's being processed for a coffee drive-through stand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Johnson, if you would give me a minute to finish, and then we would get to where you can ask questions.
thank you.
Okay. The public hearing on ordinance serial number 2610 is now open. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person.
I'm Linda Stotler, and I'm on the list for speaking tonight regarding the rezoning,
Okay, now,
and I live within the city limits. So I came originally in June because I just heard about it. I did read the papers on the letters that were sent June 17 from the Smiths, and I had some statements to combat those. Cottonwood Creek borders the south side of lots 2 and 3 and provides significant natural barrier. There's only lily pads and then their own property of high trees and tall grasses between the property itself and the creek. I'm not sure what they mean by a significant natural barrier. Pardon me. Each of the homes on Snowbird has significant foliage and heavily wooded borders, providing privacy and noise reduction. I live across the street on the south side of Fern. I'm in Snowbird, sorry. And I can see in the wintertime the street lights from the intersection of KGB and Fern. I can actually see those street lights through the trees or through the lack of leaves that are there in the wintertime. So no, and we do have a lot of noise pollution from the main road of KGB now as it is, since they widened it to 4 lanes. And every time there's a major accident there, I can see all the sirens, I can see all the lights from the sirens and that sort of stuff through my windows. So no, that's a false statement. The extreme setback requirements, there's only a 75-foot setback requirement from the creek, from waterways to the actual land use. So 75 feet is not an extreme strict requirement. That just barely gives us enough to let, hopefully, nature be nature. This land actually sits higher than my house, and it sits higher than the creek. So when there will be land developed use there, it's going to run down into the creek. If there's any runoff going to happen, it's going to go there. The man who owns this property also owns the property that the trees were already cleared off of, from the corner of KGB and Fern and Hard Rock. That's like a more than 2 acre parcel there. He clear cut the whole thing. He's had it for sale for a while as commercial property. He's wanting to make this other piece of commercial property as well so he can raise the amount of revenue he earns when he sells it. He already has 2 pads placed on it in preparation for it to be sold as commercial property. He's already cleared enough to do that. And he had already done a lot of the prep work. And so I'm still against it. I don't believe we should be doing it. The water is already being watched by the Fish and Game Department for fish run through there and how many are coming through. It's a non-fishing area. It has a salmon run that runs through there up to the Cottonwood Lake, or to Wasilla Lake, sorry. And so it does have a huge impact if we make that a commercial property. Not just for me personally, but for future of the wildlife.
thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on ordinance serial number 2610? Seeing no one, Mr. Johnson, you have a question for the acting planner?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So, is what I would like to find out from the city is what is the advantage to the city for this proposal, realizing that we previously had testimony that said that we need residential properties. So I'm really perplexed to see the statement that this meets all of the requirements from the planning department. So maybe if you could prepare a statement for next meeting as to why this is the advantage to the city, I would certainly like to hear that. Thank you.
Okay, the acting planner will bring a statement at the next meeting. So I will close public hearing on ordinance serial number 2610. And the council has scheduled one additional public hearing on this ordinance. The hearing will be held at the July 27th council meeting. Madam Clerk, please read the ordinance serial number 2613 by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Authorizing the execution, acceptance, and appropriation of a state revolving fund forgivable loan in the amount of $75,000 for the sewer master plan project.
The public hearing on ordinance serial number 2613 is now open. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Seeing no one, I will close public hearing. And is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2613?
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Crafton,
I move ordinance serial number 2613.
is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Crafton and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to adopt ordinance serial number 2613. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton,
Thank you, Mayor. Love this idea. I mean, I'm not going to say no to what feels like a free $75,000 to pay for a project that is much needed. What is the total cost of this project? Is the $75,000 cover it, or are we going to still fund a portion of it ourselves? Because originally, I believe we put $250,000 toward the project.
Public Works.
Yeah, Robert Waldman here for Eric Shaw. The original budget was 250,000, so this is just a portion, 75,000. That was a max loan from the ADEC.
So are we still expecting to spend
Correct.
250? Just what was this?
Yes,
175. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Graham,
This is just a technical procedural question. You know, the state revolving loan fund, forgivable amount, is that subject to appropriation, or is that once we sign the papers, we're guaranteed that it is forgivable?
Councilmember Graham, through the mayor. So it is already a funded program through DEC. And so once our application goes in, then they return the terms and conditions that shows the forgivable amount at that time.
Thank you.
okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none, I will bring it back. Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. We are now at persons to be heard, a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. Please note that this is not a question and answer period. Speakers may be referred to administration and items raised may be taken under advisement. And the first one is Mary Robinson.
Good evening. My name is Mary Robinson. I'm a City of Westlaw resident, and full disclosure, I am also a part-time City of Westlaw employee, and I represent myself. This testimony represents my personal opinions and analysis of matters of public concern informed by publicly available information. Any references to individuals constitute opinion and commentary protected under the First Amendment. First, I want to thank you to Deputy Administrator Nygaard for appearing before the Mat-Su Borough Assembly and reading into the public record the City of Wacilla's statement against Assembly Member Mr. Bowles' introduction of 6.5% sales tax. As some of you who know me, I have thoughts and opinions, and so I have thoughts and opinions as to why Assembly Member Bowles did that. I also want to thank you to Councilmember Cottle. As again, those of you who know me know that I appear on a regular basis before the Assembly to speak in support of intellectual freedom. I love our libraries, and I believe that free and equal access to information is the bedrock of democracy. So thank you to Councilmember Cottle for attending many of the Assembly meetings, and Deputy Administrator Nygaard. I want to thank you for the opportunity to attend the active shooter drill as a City of Wasilla employee. I hate that we have to even consider that, but enhancing personal and workplace safety. The instructor, Greg Russell, did a great job, and he recommended that we reach out to Amira Goldstein of Alaska Public Risk Alliance for a safety assessment report. And if I understand correctly, she will be coming to City Hall in the next few days to walk through and make sure that we're as safe as we can possibly be. So thank you for that. Thank you for my raise. I do appreciate the extra money, especially under the rapidly evolving political landscape with shifting priorities currently in play on a national level. I hope that I'm behind the curve and you have decided to apply the raises promised to the city department directors and supervisors. As a supervisor myself in my previous career, institutional knowledge is priceless and deserves to be rewarded. And I hope that you do reward your directors and supervisors for the great job that they do. In closing, James Baldwin, author, Black, gay, was a master of articulating human complexity, identity, and the struggle for justice. He quoted, "You think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read." Thank you.
Okay, up next is Senator David Wilson.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the record, my name is David Wilson. I am a city resident, and tonight I am here at this time to talk upon my employer, the Mat-Su Health Foundation. We recently had our annual meeting, and I know it had conflicted with your dates here at having a council meeting, but those are set in bylaws and on a certain day and time of the year when we have to have that meeting. So my apologies for the conflict and not being able to have you guys in attendance. Before us, I'm just going to run quickly through the annual report. This is online at healthymatsu.org for folks in the audience and folks online that maybe wanted to go through and just highlight some of those activities. We first start off with a wonderful introduction from our illustrious CEO, Esther Pitts. And then we go into talking about supporting the Mat-Su and our mission and vision, a healthy community where all persons have the opportunities to have a healthy life. And our mission is to improve the health and wellness of Alaskans living here in the Mat-Su. And we talk upon some of our values, and this is part of our transparency piece, and talk about our transparency of what we do and how we operate within the Mat-Su Health Foundation. We talk about our research and community engagement, policy advocacy, research and evaluation, and our funding. We talk about our grant making and philanthropy. So last year, we funded $21.7 million in grant making with 238 grantees, and of the 294 applications, when those are on page 20, that list out all the folks that we fund, and also it's a searchable database on our website for last year and historical as well. If you look at all the Mat-Su nonprofits in the Valley, I think we funded probably 67% of all those entities within the Valley at one point in time. We're talking about our scholarships, over 489 scholarships, 184 vocational scholarships, and over 50% of those folks stay here in the Mat-Su and continue to work here. Some folks are out of state, and those items. We also do food security. We highlighted a couple of the grantees going through here, and you see one of the spotlights. You see one of your former current council members, and her other hat that she wears here at WASI, and she's a wonderful picture on page 9. talking about some of the highlights. We talked about our sponsorship impact, which you guys were a recent sponsorship awardee this year for the Mayor's Picnic. But we had 115 sponsorships, 82 organizations supported. That's over $250,000. We talked about some of our recent work with Connect Mat-Su, helping residents connect with services in the Valley to make sure that they have those well connections. We talked about our Rock Mat-Su program, Raising Our Children with Kindness, and the impacts that services have had. If you see that wonderful, beautiful bald head on page 16, talking about policy and advocacy, folks there, our evaluation and learning team, which I know some of your members went to talked about Mat-Su, sort of a community needs assessment and Mat-Su measures. And we'll talk a little bit more about that because that has developed a little bit more and more resources and availability, our community engagement, philanthropy. And with that, our grant awards, and I'll be back later to finish up on some other items. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, you know how to find me. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Linda Stotler. Okay.
Linda Stotler, and I did want to talk to you guys further about that property. As a resident of this area for over 20 years, there is one thing that we have been lacking, and that is a place for our kids to play. There are parks around. There's Iditarod Park across KGB down the 1.5 miles. There's also Peterson Park, which is behind the Alaska Club. But those are both over 1 mile away from where we live. And kids would come, we built low-income housing back behind off of one of the roads down there off of Fern. And kids ride their bikes up to the creek to play in that creek now. And they play on the side of the road or down by the culvert. And, you know, if this person who's trying to sell this land is really wanting to do something with it that would help us out, it would be to donate it to the city to make a park out of it. He could donate the land, and we could donate and make that into a park for kids because we have no place for our kids to play in a public access area. And would give them creek access, it would give them road access off of the main roads, have plenty of parking. And I just think, you know, I tried to petition earlier for where the old cabin used to be on the opposite side of the road, down in the area that can't be sold, to make that into a park area as well. But it didn't gain any traction either. But we don't have a place for our kids to play or to convene or to gather. So I just thought I'd throw that out there and maybe find a different use for that property than selling it as commercial and make it helpful for the community that it currently is involved with and is wrapped around it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tara Sprague.
My name is Tara Sprague. I've lived out here in the valley for about 15 years now. I originally came up here in 1982. I'm a part of the Neighborhood Watch. I'm constantly doing neighborhood patrols during the day and evening time. We are having more and more sex offenders, pedophiles in the park, stalking children, stalking women of all young ages. We also have people that are being inappropriate out in public. Like yesterday, I was doing a patrol over on Bogart, and somebody was being inappropriate right there where people were driving. I'm finding people that are sleeping naked behind gas stations and other things. There are so many things that are happening out here in the valley that are not being addressed. I'm not saying our law enforcement is doing their job, but I'm saying that we can come together as a community and work with our law enforcement to make Mat-Su Valley safe again. We have things going out on Jims Creek where people are not wearing their helmets and being unsafe. There are laws that are not being followed out in Big Lake, Willow, Palmer, Sutton area. I walk everywhere. I don't have a car. I've done foster care for the state of Alaska for 7 years. We need to make Alaska safe again. Our community needs to come together again If our neighborhood watch and communities need to come together with the law enforcement, work with the law enforcement, so our women, children, elderly, Vietnam veterans are safe again, so be it. I am one of those people in the community that is willing to work with our law enforcement and make our kids safe, make everybody in this community safe again. There are serious things that are not being addressed out here in the valley that need to be addressed. Like today, I got a notification on my neighborhood watch that two 20-year-olds are missing in the last 24 hours. Two gentlemen that are my daughter's boyfriend age has came up missing. We have to do something about this. This is getting serious more and more every year. Our state used to be safe when I was a kid, and a lot of people in the community are not feeling safe anymore.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, we are now on the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the items for approval under the consent agenda by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have two sets of special meeting minutes, May 27, 2026 and June 1st, 2026. Our introduction was moved to new business, so we have one resolution for approval. Resolution serial number 2639, approving and adopting the amended Alaska Intergovernmental Remote Seller Sales Tax Agreement.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Cottle and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to approve the consent agenda as read. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. We have no unfinished business. We are on to new business. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Introduction, recommended public hearing on July 27th, 2026. Ordinance serial number 2614, amending sections of the Wasilla Municipal Code within Chapter 5.16 Sales Tax to create certain uniform provisions for the collections and remittance of sales tax for marketplace facilitators through the Alaska Uniform Remote Seller Sales Tax Code pursuant to Wasilla Municipal Code 516.225, Alaska Uniform Remote Seller Sales Tax Code adopted by reference.
Okay. Is there a motion to introduce resolution serial number 26-14 and set for hearing on July 27th, 2026, next regular meeting?
Madam Mayor, I move to set ordinance serial number 2614 for public hearing on July 27th.
Is there a second?
Madam Mayor, Cottle seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Graham and seconded by Councilmember Cottle to move resolution or ordinance serial number 2614 to the July 27th regular meeting. Is there objection to the motion? Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor, I asked for this to be moved to new business just to make one point so that everybody understands this. You know, we're not going to vote on this for a couple of weeks, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that all we're doing here is we are aligning our code of ordinances with what is currently happening with the Alaska Remote Seller Sales Tax, which is an organization run by Alaska Municipal League that collects sales taxes throughout the state from sellers outside the state. So we're just making sure that our code aligns with this. We're not imposing any new taxes. We're not changing any tax rates. All we're doing is making sure that our code, is lined up with what is actually happening here. So this is just a technical update. There's no new taxes. There's nothing to get excited about. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that.
Okay, is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, it will be scheduled on July 27th, 2026 meeting. So there is no unfinished business, there is no communication item, so we will move on to audience comments. This is a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. Okay.
Hi,
Senator Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the record, this is David Wilson. Wearing the other hat as the immediate past president of the Sunrise Rotary Club. Just want to say thank you, Mayor and administration, and Mr. Bell and his folks for putting on a wonderful mayor's picnic on the 4th of July. I believe we served about 3,000 hot dogs. I think you guys ordered 3,500 plus the one for the eat contest. So I think we cooked 3,100 minus the, hot dogs that were out and served. Madam Mayor was out there serving hot dogs as normal. Thank you for your time. And we had Senator Sullivan out there serving hot dogs, showing that he was a man of the people and having a great time there as well. We just missed some of the council members showing up. I know some of you guys are in parades, but afterwards, next year, we want to challenge you guys to come out and serve your constituents with us. It was a great time, and we increased lines to 3 lines. I think 4 was a little ambitious, but maybe next year we can hit 4 with some, more volunteers from the city council folks. I know that Mr. Seals, the former immediate past president, invited you guys, and so we're happy. And like I said, it was a wonderful time. You guys did a wonderful event. The weather held out wonderfully, and so I just want to say thank you guys for the wonderful partnership with our wonderful Sunrise Rotary Club and other Rotary Clubs volunteers that also came out too and helped and rallied the folks. And so thank you again.
Thank you. And the administration appreciates Sunrise Rotary and everything you do for this mayor's picnic. Okay, is there anyone else? Please begin your testimony by stating your first and last name and if you're a city resident.
Yes, I'm a resident of Wasilla, and my name is Michael Getz. I am a local contractor. We have a lot on Dana Street, so we bought it before. And they started changing rules about to turn it to commercial. It was residential and commercial.
Would you speak closer to the mic, please? Thank you.
Oh, sorry. So we got a lot on Dana Street, and we need a little help. Maybe you can do some exceptions for continue with fourplex, because they changed that thing. I don't know, it's my second language, sorry. Trying to make it clear, and we want to continue to build because we planned it before, and before we get to it. So we knew about 2 months ago they turned it to commercial, and it's a great area for fourplex. Everything is closed, schools, and great location. I don't see problems. Maybe that's what I'm asking. And what else? Sorry, I'm worried. Thank you. I think you understand what I'm asking.
Support.
No, it's not about the rezone. It was about the resolution that was put in about commercial and housing.
It's fairly small lot. What else we can do on a small lot like that? So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? Hearing none, I will close audience comments and bring it back to the dais. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to announce candidate filing period for our October 6th regular election opens Monday the 20th, closes Friday, July 31st. We have 2 council seats on the ballot this year. Council seats C and D, both 3-year terms. And then our race for mayor is up for election. We'll see you all here next regular meeting, July 27th.
Madam Attorney.
No comments, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Great 4th of July parade. That was amazing. I always enjoy the 4th of July. It's a great time to celebrate our nation's independence, and one of my favorite holidays. I wish we could have fireworks, but at least we celebrate those during New Year's. And thank you, Mayor, for putting on the mayor's picnic after the parade. It's always fun, the events and stuff that is put on. I thank you, everyone who attended out there. I appreciate everyone to make this happen. Thank you.
Councilmember Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, thanks everybody for being here. I always appreciate the public comment portion of what's going on, because that definitely helps us make good decisions here. I also wanted to comment on the parade. Great parade. Good job, Scott. Thanks for rallying the staff to make that happen. I know for me, I was a bit worried going into it because rain was forecast, and I had 4,000 frozen otter pops to give out, and without warm weather that would have been a challenge. But God smiled on us, and with the crowd we had out there, I probably could have given out 8,000 of those. And it was very well received. People were very happy to have us out there, and people were very happy to be able to come out into a safe area. So that was well done, Scott. I appreciate your work and the staff there. And we mentioned Senator Sullivan being in the parade earlier. Following the parade, the senator came to the Veterans of Foreign Wars here in Wasilla and presented an award to one of our employees that's been with VFW for 30 years. So it kind of shows what's going on. And prior to that, he presented a Purple Heart to someone that had erroneously been left off the Purple Heart list. So, recognizing the number of veterans that we have out here in the Valley and the importance of what they contribute now and what they had contributed in the past is a great thing. But it's a nice meeting tonight. A lot going on with the development. We're talking about the Fern Street area, and the Dana Street there. So a lot going on with development. This is development time of year. So thank God I'm not the acting city planner. So thanks for being here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, the parade was excellent. I enjoyed it, and my family enjoyed it immensely. The picnic was great. It was great to see everybody out there, and no further comment. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Rubio.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for everyone that did come out, and even the ones that didn't and sent in emails. We love communication with the community. On the note of the 4th of July, the parade, all of my attendees did not realize that even though they knew it was 2 miles long, that is the longest parade forever to hand out things and candy, and it was kind of funny to listen to them. Like, I didn't think I could walk 2 miles. The next day they were complaining, but such a good turnout. And people came from the woodworks. The streets were lined for 2 miles. That's incredible, that turnout. So Scott, that route is amazing because it really does bring enough people out and spreads it out enough. People don't realize 2 miles, but it's still the fact that it is a beautiful show. Heard from constituents that the hot dogs were amazing, as always, but served with smiles. So we're doing everything right and correct. I love it. And that is it.
Okay, Councilmember Cottle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I can just echo, the parade was amazing. Scott, your folks all did an amazing job. I walked past the mayor's picnic because I have 3 grandsons that don't have enough patience to stand in line that long for hot dogs. But somebody actually had an extra hot dog and handed it to the youngest one. He thought that was great. It was like free service. So the turnout was wonderful. The park was packed. Great job to Scott, to all the administration and all the volunteers that helped with that. And it takes a lot of volunteers. So thank you for all of that. Today I got to officially meet our new finance director. So I want to officially say welcome to you and look forward to working with you and seeing all the good things you do. So welcome. And that's all I have.
Councilmember Kraft.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for who stayed through a meeting. I'm sitting here going, my gosh, it's not even 7 o'clock and we're done.
I know.
I think this is the first time we finished this quickly it's been a good 2 months now, at least. I mean, we fought through budget season. So welcome to our new finance director. You had an easy meeting today. May the rest be the best, or just as good. To talk about the picnic as well, and the parade. It was a wonderful time. I'm just glad again that the rain held out just long enough for us. It sprinkled a little bit, kept it from getting too hot. Because I've walked that parade in the blaring sun, and it's actually better when it's cloudy like that, because it's not overly hot. And Councilmember Rubio, it's 2.5 miles. So you can give them extra props, and by the time you've done all the pre-walking around, setting up, you're like 3.5 miles committed. So
1,000 steps.
yeah. So it was a great time. 4th of July is again one of my favorite times of the year as well. I think it was extra special because it's our 250th year celebrating. So thank you all, and we will get out of here for tonight.
Yeah. All right. It's my pleasure to welcome Wendy. Would you stand up, Wendy, please? She is our new finance director. She brings with her the alphabet behind her name. So I am truly impressed with Wendy, and she really seems to fit right in and be cohesive part of the team. So welcome, Wendy. Anything that you need or whatever, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. So with Wendy coming on board, that helps solidify the administrative team. We still don't have a city planner. We do have city planners. They're just contracted. And that seems to be working extremely well, because not only do we have one, we have two. And it's still cheaper than having a city planner on staff, because we're not paying somebody to write code. We all have been here and know what happens when all the planner does is write code. So with that, the parade, that's always my favorite time of the year. And this year it was extremely special because it was our 250th birthday. And we are still free. You know, that freedom of speech, I couldn't live nowhere that I didn't have that, because I wouldn't last long. So, but I think we forget what our freedom really means to us. And with you watching what's going on in Iran and what those people, you know, one of their famous singers, she got 75 lashes because she was performing without that jihad, whatever they call that thing, burqa. She got 75 lashes because of that. And it just makes you stop and think and be humbled and appreciative. We're not perfect by no means, but we are better than anything else out there. So with that, and Mr. Graham, are you sick? I'm kind of worried about you.
Well, I was watching the clock as well. I was just trying to at least once during your tenure have it end by 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. With that, I will